Okay guys, you're welcome to another episode of this building our shell, and this is day one, last video for day one. Okay, so if you have not seen the first, second and third videos, I would recommend you go watch them. I would put a link at the top here so you can actually check them out. All right, so we stopped at from video 3 of day 1. We stopped at this guy, this exercise, right? Write a program that prints all the arguments without using AC. And what we just did is, instead of using 0 less than AC, we only use as far as AV is not equal to no. Okay, so that's that. So in this task, we're gonna make it short, and it's just going to be the first approach to starting our shell, right? And this is going to be, write a program that prints a dollar sign, right? I think this dollar and space, right? Wait for the user to enter a command and print it to the next line. It's going to print the command to the next line, I guess, right? So we are doing command 3 getline. So this getline function will help us do that, right? Okay, so let us man getline and then see man 3 getline. So getline function actually explains everything, how it works, and then it said important, make sure you read the man and the return value section in order to know when to stop reading keywords end of line of this. So for this guy, we're going to stop this task at this point, and then the next task we said advanced, write your own getline. So we have to write the getline function our own, right? So the next task I'll see if we can do something about that. So the getline function, they called it prompt, and then it's being executed, and then it's bringing out what what is there or something. Yeah, anyway, um okay, 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 I think it's still the same thing, prompt.c. I think it's still the same task. Yes, so yeah, it's still the same thing. So it's going to be this guy and space. So it's still this same task that we're doing. Write your own version of Getline. Yeah, I think it's still the same task. Okay, so when we do cat prompt.c, it's still going to repeat it afterwards. Okay, so we're going to have a program called prompt.c. Okay, it's not like we are creating our own Getline function. All right, so okay, so we're going to do something like this, and okay, let's go. So if you look at Getline, right, we have the standard io.h, right, and we have two functions. We have Getline and Getline. So Getline is like a sister to Getline function, right? Used to do I think get a line as well, but it's different, right? That's different syntax, that's different parameters that it uses. Okay, but we are concerned with the getLine function for now. So if you look at it, we have 3 parameters to getLine functions, right? So we have a file pointer, right? So this is basically a file. We are going to be reading getting a line from a file, right? So in our case, instead of getting it from a file, we want to get it from our keyboard, which would be standard input. So we change this guy to standard input when we in our own case. But normally the get line can help us get a line from a file, right? So we have a file pointer, and then we have a size t, which is unsigned integer. So with this size t, I think we are supposed to have standard library. Okay, I don't know why it's not included here, because when you're using size t is defined in this standard library. Okay, so this is unsigned integer and a pointer n. Okay, so the pointer n is this string. Now you're supposed to be storing it in a buffer. Okay, so that buffer is the n is the buffer size. Okay, the size of that buffer that you want to store this thing inside. And then we have this line pointer, which is a pointer to this buffer. Okay, so let's say we'll do a practical about it, and a practice example on that, and then we'll do what is told of us to do. Okay, exercise underscore t get the link. Okay, we are not doing this. So if you look at it very well, it says, let's see the description, the get line. It reads an entire line from stream, right? So let's say we are passing um, a file to it, so it's going to read an entire line of that file, right? So read an entire line from stream, storing the address of the buffer containing the text into line pointer. So it's going to store the address of this guy, of the buffer. This is not the buffer, this is just the size of the buffer. So it's going to store the address of buffer to this guy, right? The buffer is a null terminator and include new line characters if one was found. Okay, so if line pointer is set to null, so if we put that buffer line pointer to be equal to null, right, that is, it's not pointing to a buffer, right? So and n is set to 0, that is, we don't have any size before the call, before we use this getLine function, right? GetLine will allocate the buffer for storing the line. This buffer should be freed by the user. So if we don't do that, getLine will help us allocate size for buffer, right? It's going to help us do that, but we need to free it at the end. Okay, so alternately, but we have to set it to null and n to 0. Alternately, before calling getLine, okay, I think this one is talking about when we are now doing it ourselves. Line pointer can contain a pointer to a malloc3 allocated buffer. Okay, so it can contain a pointer to the allocated buffer of n bytes in size. Okay, if the buffer is not large enough, so if we create a buffer that is small, maybe our n is small, okay, the getLine will resize it with reallocation, update line pointer and n as necessary. I don't know if you understand everything I'm saying, but we are still going to do a practical of it. So in either case, on a successful call, line pointer and n will be updated to reflect the buffer address and allocate size respectively. So this one is for getDelim. So on return, right, the function will return -1 on failure, that is if it fails, and then in the event of an error, error no, right? Error no is set to indicate the cause. On success, getLine will return the number of character that is read, right, including the delimiter character, but not this one is for delimiter, but not including the terminating number. The value can be used to handle embedded number. Okay, so let's go to the I think they give us an example, so this is a good stuff to do. So this is the end, so let's go through this example. So I'll go through this example, I'll make an example for you as well, right, and then we would understand and then we'll do the task. Okay, so we have standard IO and standard library, definitely, right, and they used command line arguments in C and B, which we did previously. Okay, that is once collect command from outside. Let's see. Okay, so this guy is set there because of this guy basically. So we have a file pointer, okay, and we've done file before, right? So in our own case, we will not be having a file pointer, so that's why I have to give you an example and also do the task. Okay, so they have a file pointer and then they have a character line. So this one is the buffer, right? So they have a buffer pointer, right, and they set it to null, and then they set the size of that, of this guy, they set it to 0. Okay, so this one is something they need, so they just created this one on their own, right? So they said unsigned integer n read. Okay, numbers read. Okay, so now they're saying if argc is not equal to 2, you should print error. That is, if the count, argument count is not 2, right? You should give them error because they want two argument, which is the command and probably the file, right? Okay, so we have this one. It says stream, right? They are trying to open the file now. So let's say they pass in the file. Okay, so that stream, they are assigning it to the file, the pointer to the file, right? So stream is equals to f open, and it's opening argument 1, right? And it's reading it. Okay, so if stream is equal to null, that is, if there is nothing inside, if stream didn't point to anything, then it should print error, right? If this thing was not, maybe this guy is -1, right? It's not successfully opened or something, it should return failure. Okay, so we have another one. We said wow. Okay, so the getLine now wants to get something from the stream. So we have the stream, which is the file is getting something from the pointer to the file, and then we have ampersand length and ampersand line. So this is our addresses. So it's going to collect addresses. So the first one is address ampersand line, which is the size, right? 0, and then null, which is the pointer to the buffer, right? So we have this, and then we are passing the numbers. You know, it's going to return the number it printed, right? So number read is going to return it. And if while this guy is not equal to -1, meaning that it this guy has opened successfully, right? Okay, so while this guy opens successfully, it should print this guy. So this is what we need, ZU, right? ZU. So it should print how many number, right, to the standard output, right? And then you should write it out. Standard output, we are putting it, we are writing. I think fwrite would collect this for stuff. So we can check out fwrite. I don't know if it's part of the functions that we'll be using in shell. So if it is, then I think fwrite will go a long way in helping us to write, since we'll not be using printf to print out anyway. So at the end, it is being freed. So this getLine function has taken care of that for us. So there's one more thing I think about getLine function that I need you to know is the new line. A new line denotes that other than new line can be specified. Okay, so I think the getLine comes with a new line. So I'm trying to check where that is, which is the last part of this program. I can't see it now. Probably let me just continue and then we'll see it. We'll see what to do. Okay, so let us clear, and then we'll go through this again. So what we'll do is we want to create let's create the prompt.c, right? So we have to make this guy come out, passing a command, and you should print that command, right? So it's as simple as that. So vi main, sorry, prompt.c. Okay, so I will show you the example first, 2 examples, and then we'll do that. 2 examples mean that we'll allow getLine will allocate memory, and then we'll also allow getLine to do its own magic. So we'll include to handle the memory allocation rather. So we include our standard IU.h, and then we include our standard library.h. Okay, so int main. This is like the first time I'm doing this, so let's give this guy void for now. Okay, all right, so good. So what are we doing? So for this one, what we're going to do is we'll set our size _c n, right? So n equals to, let's say 10. So that is our buffer size, right? 10. We want our buffer to be able to hold 10 things, right? So we'll have our buff character buff, right? Let's see, character buff, right? And that's that. Are we correct? I don't know. Okay, so the last thing is I think that is all for now. Okay, so we'll first print that prompt, print f, and let's say let's print a prompt to the person and say enter your name. Sorry, let me do this and go back there. And, okay, so we use getline, right? The getline function. So the getline function will collect three things, right? Which is the address, ampersand of buffer, right? But before that, let me allocate memory for buffer. So I'll say buff equal to. No, I think this guy is supposed to be a pointer, right? I'm not sure. I have to check the map page again. I think this guy is supposed to be. Is it pointer? I'm not sure. I have to confirm that. All right. So we'll malloc size of, right, char times 10. Okay, so that's that. So we can also say if buff equals to null, it should print error or exit anyone. So we can leave that for now. My stuff has frozen. Let me just reload the network. So my network is hanging. Okay, it's back. So cd shell and ls, or let's do la. So where's that guy? So I'll say vi, what's that flag? Let's see. Okay, good. So here we are, and then we've allocated memory for this guy, so we can add that guy, but for now I won't do that. And then we'll say getline buff address of that. No, I'm not sure this guy will be in quote. It will be like this, right? And then we'll have comma and then address of our n, comma, and then we want to get something from our standard input. Okay, so at the end you should print whatever it gets out. Okay, so we print so what we want to print, let's just see, should we say your name is, and then so I think the getline function comes with a new line, so we don't need to add new line to the beginning of this guy. Your name is percent %s, right? Let's put new line here. Okay, let's see, and then comma, and then we'll have our you know what, let me open this guy in two tabs just to follow up with the man page as well, because Okay, so we have that, and then we have what's it called, our buffer, right? We have this, and then at the end we want to, okay, let's also print our buffer size, because I want to use that to explain something to you. Print f, and then we print out our buffer size. And our buffer size should be percentage d, right? And let's say comma n. Okay, so let's see n, and then at the end we want to free our buff, and then you return. Sorry, I wanted to press space. Okay, so good. So I think like this, let me just remind this guy, man Getline. Okay, so we have that. So let me just see. Okay, so from the example we have our our character. I think is good this way. So I think we are good this way. What else? So let us do this and clear, and let's compile using this guy. I'm not sure if we follow these flags. All right, so let's see. I've pasted it. I'm waiting for it to load. Okay, so we have one error. This one should be LD. Yeah, so let us go back there. It should be long unsigned integer. Okay, so vi, why did I vi it? Okay, I think I need to remove this something as well. I need to remove this prompt, or else it's going to give us issue. Dot prompt. Okay, so I'll vi my prompt. Okay, so when we want to print unsigned integer, should be LD. Okay, alright, so we can clear and then press this guy. Okay, so we have our prompt, and then we can run prompt, and as you can see, it said enter your name, right? And I say D, and you say your name is D, came with a new line, and then buffer size is 10. So basically our buffer size is 10 and it can receive that D. Okay, what if our buffer size, let me just readjust all this code to make it vi prompt.c to make it more. So I think this new line we added here came with the get line will come with a new line. So I think this is where we need the new line. Okay, and then enter your name. Let's just make it print that prompt that it used to print, the $sign and a space, right? And then what else? Okay, so let us recompile, and then so sorry, prompt. Can you see it's waiting for us to enter a prompt, and then we say my name. Okay, so it says my name buffer size 10. So my name can handle it. Our buffer size is still 10. So let us say we imputed, we say prompt.c, and we enter what are you doing. Okay, you see that our buffer size increased from 10 to 20. And if you notice that um, we actually set it to 10, but the thing is our from the man page it says that our getLine function would do what? It would reallocate if the buffer size is too small. Okay, using if the buffer size is not large enough to hold the getLine, the line, getLine resize it with this. Okay, so it would help us resize it. So let us just do the tasks and then do the last thing together. So which is we want to make it print. We are already doing this, right? It's already printing this prompt, but we don't want to allocate memory for it, right? We want to make getLine do the work for us, so we'll do that together. So vi prompt dot c. Okay, so when we want to do that, we'll say so we'll set this guy to 0, right? And we'll set this guy to null. And with that, we don't need to use allocate memory again. Getline would help us allocate memory. Okay, so Getline will help us allocate memory. So we want to print out this prompt, and then Getline would collect input from the standard input, right? And then we don't need to say your name is. So let us just leave that, and let us just collect that input. Okay, you should print, yes, let's just print that input. So percent %s, okay, and then we should just print our buffer size, and we have to free it as well. Okay, so let's do this and compile. Okay, as you can see, our prompt is waiting, right? I think it's $sign, not ampersand, but anyway, let us say my name is ALX robot. Okay, so as you can see, it allocated enough space, 120. So let's say we have something even much more. As you can see, look at the way our prompt is. It's just the same way our prompt is when we execute our program. So let us say let me vi prompt.c. Let me change this guy to dollar, because that's what we are meant to do, not ampersand. It is dollar. Okay, all right, so let us execute it. Okay, right, it's waiting, and you say my name is ALX robots. I am a great robot, and the name of, I want to do something greater than, so let us just create something greater than 120. Okay, so this is it. So as you can see, it printed it out back, and then it allocated to 40. So our getLine can allocate memory, and we can also allocate memory. So if we allocate memory and the memory is not enough, getLine will use realloc itself to reallocate memory. Okay, so with that, we are done with this tag. So prompt, we have our prompt, right? And then let's call our prompt, let's call it this guy, or let's call it this guy, right? So it will make sense. So let's just say h, it's going to print h. So let's vi our prompt dot c. Okay, and then right, so $sign. So let us see. So let's compile it, right? And then prompt Okay. Oh, why is it not? Okay. I was wondering that why is it not printing? So it is already working, as you can see. We have our prompt, and then we can say ls, and then it's going to say ls back. But this buffer size, I can remove it because I'm just using this buffer size to explain it. So let me remove it as well. So it's gonna look good. So we have this. Why is this thing frozen again? Okay, it has. Okay, I wanted to say it has frozen. So alright, so let us recompile, and then prompt. So we see we have our prompt, and then let's say ls, for example. So it's going to print ls, right? So let's say our prompt, and then we say cat prompt, as that's what is in that guy, and then you say cat prompt, right? So I think it's working perfectly. Yeah, cat prompt.c, still gonna be the same thing. Right, as received. So we have it, and as you can see, look at our prompt, it's working perfectly. So that will be all for now, and then in the next tutorial we're gonna do I think we're done with this second task, right? We're gonna check it out and see. Okay, so see you.